My name is Mikey D, and I'm scared of watching anything that requires subtitles.
I'm Joel Harris, and I think my best friend is a fool for not experiencing the pleasures of international cinema, let alone the biggest show in the world right now.
So, to save myself time, I watched the first episode of Squid Game to see if I can guess the ending after just one episode.
And then I'll let him know how he went.
Guessing the plot after one episode.
In the first episode of Squid Game, we're introduced to Gi-hun, a degenerate man struggling with debt, a gambling addiction, and a terrible relationship with his daughter. After a mysterious man offers him the chance to win a large sum of money by playing simple childhood games, Gi-hun accepts and is transported along with 455 others to a hidden island. The players are dressed in identical green tracksuits and are watched over by masked guards. The first game is red light, green light, but it quickly turns deadly when players who move during red light are shot and killed, revealing the brutal and high stakes nature of the competition.
Mikey, my dear friend, my first question is how many seasons do you think it ran for?
I won't beat around the bush here, Joe. I know it's 3 seasons because Netflix, the dog, showed it to me. I'm locking in 3. Yeah,
okay.
lock in 3.
Second question, what do you think the main character arcs are for all the characters introduced to you?
So to start with player 456, Gi-hun, I believe in the first season he wins the entire games, but I believe that he's going to go back into the games in the subsequent seasons. He'll win the fortune, but seeing as this is season 2 and 3, I believe he's going to get back in the games to try and take it down. I think he's seen atrocities, his friends get murdered, he's seen so many people get murdered, and we know that Gi-hun's got a good spirit about him, and this is outlined in the first episode when he's running away from the mobsters and he bumps into that girl. Even though she's stolen his wallet, he still was so kind to her. I think with the absence of his financial woes, which is, I think, making him act like such a scumbag, I think he's gonna have a really good conscience, and I think that conscience is gonna lead to him wanting to take down the entire game. And now for the recruiter. He won't make a return in season 1, I'm guessing, but I believe he's gonna make a return in season 2 and 3. I think he was really good. And I think that he's the first port of call and the only person with a face that Gi-hun could go back to get himself back into the games. I think he's gonna make a big return.
Cool.
Player 67, Sae-byok. She's gonna die in the games. I'm sorry, and it's gonna be so damn sad. I believe she's gonna be treated like Gi-hun's daughter. I think he's gonna have a second chance at being a father within these games, and I think it's gonna be her that he kind of raises up. I think her death is gonna be super dramatic. It's gonna be to the mid to the late part of season number 1 as well. Gi-hun's mother, I don't think she's gonna be a major part of this show, but I do believe she's gonna get murdered by the mob. They're gonna go looking for Gi-hun as he's away on this island, and they're going to be looking for the money, and I think she's going to get got. Player number 1, Il-nam. He'll die on the island, but I don't think he'll die in the games. I think there's going to be some dramatic scene where all the players wake up to go the next morning to the games, and they find that he's dead in his bed from the brain tumor that's in his head. And I think that's going to be super sad because he's got so much wisdom about him, and I think he's going to be like a real kind, sweet old soul. So I think it's going to be a really sad death. I think it's going to be much later into the show than we anticipate as well.
Yeah, he's just a sweet old guy.
Yeah. Player 218, Sung-woo. He will die in the games, absolutely. He's going to become Gi-hun's closest friend, but he's going to betray Gi-hun. I think the first part of the betrayal is going to be when they go to do the vote. They tease the fact that they can vote to stay in or out of the games as a group. I think Gi-hun and him are going to partner up. They're going to try and sway people with this vote to get out of there because it's such a dark situation. And I think he's going to absolutely turn and betray in like this final little vote where it's his vote's the decider. And I think he's absolutely going to betray Gi-hun and be like, nah, I'm staying here to get myself out of this debt. And I believe in the final game of this show, it's going to be him against Gi-hun, which is going to be even sadder because they're friends and they're close from their neighborhood. Instead of Gi-hun going up against the evil guy. Player 199, Ali. He's gonna die in the games as well. Everyone's gonna die in the games. These are easy guesses for me.
How do you know?
But I believe he's gonna be like a younger son, best friend, buddy. He's gonna be a bit comical, a bit sweet, and we're really gonna grow to love him. He's gonna be a kind of mid-season loss, and it's gonna be super depressing. Player 101, Jok-soo. He's the obvious antagonist, I get it. He's gonna form a band of evil people. I've seen Mr. Beast's Squid Games. I understand how this works.
45만 6천 달러를 갖게 됩니다.
I think the band of dogs are gonna really start to cause some disgusting dynamics within not just the games themselves and foul play in there, but when they go back to the living quarters, I think they're gonna really start to terrorize other people, which is gonna start to form in-house the Gi-huns of the world and the Joksus of the world, and they're gonna start to clash a little bit. I think he's gonna lose the games, but I don't think he's gonna be in the final battle. Finally, the front man, the man that runs the entire operation. We're gonna get a major face reveal from this person right at the end of the first season, I believe. They're not gonna play a major part in the first season. Not super major, but I think they're gonna become the bad person that Gi-hun goes up against for the remainder of the show. And it's gonna be that kind of back and forth between those two.
Okay, those are some great guesses for the characters, surprisingly. But how do you think the entire series climaxes?
So glad you asked. Here's my fan fiction. So Gi-hun finally gets his shit together now that he has money. Now that he doesn't have his financial woes, he's just gonna have this clear head and a clear conscience and a higher purpose to work towards, which is taking down the games. So I think that's gonna start happening in season 2, and I think that's gonna bleed over into season 3. I think the whole thing has to take place on the island. It has to involve the Squid Game, like in the games, for the entirety of the show. I think he's gonna have some master plan that he concocts, but ultimately the money he's been given to finance this master plan is pittance in comparison to the amount of money that is going to go against him. So I think ultimately things aren't going to work out well for him, and he's going to somehow be stuck back in the games, kind of like Katniss Everdeen, where she gets stuck back into the games, the Hunger Games. I think in season 3 there's going to be a reveal that they found his daughter and they murdered the daughter, the stepmom, the stepdad. So I think there's going to be even more reason for Gi-hun just to not have anything to live for, be even more brutal in wanting to take down this organization. I think there's going to be some sort of game that's still played because they're sadistic, they're cooked in their heads. So I think it's going to be, for season 3, somehow him going through games, much like in Hunger Games in the final one as well, where the players are kind of working their way through the normal world, but there's still games being played. I think it's going to be the exact same thing until there's finally a showdown between Frontman and Gi-hun. And ultimately, Gi-hun's going to find a way to destroy the entire island, but he's going to die on that island with everyone there. But I think what the final shot of the entire show is going to be is there's going to be a person just sitting in a train station, and then a train passes, and then you see another recruiter just standing there. Because the Squid Game just continues despite them blowing up the island. The thing is just going to happen all over again.
Okay, that's crazy.
Is that good fanfic?
But I love it. Great fanfic.
Yeah, hell yeah, dog.
My final question to you, my best friend Michael, would you continue watching the show?
Okay, I did think about this, like really gave it some thought. As we know, if you've watched our channel by now, I watch light and fluffy stuff. I try to avoid the dark because this mental state ain't so good. Let's say there's a week-long storm, like a hurricane that just rolls in. We can't leave our homes, and I'm feeling particularly brooding within my mood. Then I would absolutely watch Squid Games because I've got a week just to get through this thing and then get over the emotional turmoil it's going to bring up within me. But other than that, in my day-to-day life, no, I wouldn't.
That's the best answer you've given all day.
I am genuinely so charged to hear about how I went with my guesses.
Let me tell you how you went. Firstly, yes, it ran for 3 seasons. You're right, everyone knows this. It just came out. Let's get into the character arcs. Player 456, Gi-hun, you're right, and he does win the games. And then he does go back to the games because he's made it his life mission to take down the games, baby. Let's go.
I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
Full points for that. Next, the recruiter. You're right in that he does come back in season 2 because Gi-hun uses him to try and get to the games. And he comes back as such a psychotic maniac. It's so funny because he's a bit of a celebrity casting as well. So it's so much fun. Next, Cybiok, player 67. She does die later in the games. And it is a big dramatic death because she's murdered in cold blood by Sung-woo. So it's just a huge turning point towards the end of the season. And she is murdered after being wounded from the last game she plays. She's an ally, but I wouldn't say she was treated like his daughter. I can't give you those points, unfortunately. But even though she has a tragic end, at the very end of the series, you see that her little brother is reunited with their mother. So that was a really nice thing to include right at the end of the whole
Okay.
series. Gi-hun's mother, in the second episode, they actually vote to go home.
What?
And yeah, and Gi-hun sees his mother. She's in a 24-hour medical facility because she's got really bad untreated diabetes in her foot. And instead of staying in the hospital, she leaves because she's got no money. Gi-hun gambled away all of her money. So Gi-hun goes back to the games, wins them, and comes home to find his mother dead because of her untreated ailment.
Oh my god.
Isn't that the saddest thing you've ever heard in your life?
God, so comeuppance for him though. Like, he's such a dick.
Play number 1, Owil Nam. He is eliminated from the games, but then toward the end of the season, it's revealed he was just shuffled out the back because he's actually the creator of the games. He does have a brain tumor, so Gi-hun comes up to him in the final episode as he lays in his hospital bed in his big apartment, and they play out this philosophical argument that wraps up season 1, and he dies just as he loses this philosophical argument with Gi-hun.
Damn.
So Sung-woo, number 218, he is a close confidant in the games. He's not like right-hand man material,
Right.
but he is the most conniving and manipulative of the group. And he does end up betraying Gi-hun by murdering Sae-byok.
Right.
That comes as a
okay.
major betrayal that leads to them fighting as the final two in the final game.
I mean,
You did all right.
Oh.
But in the end, he's bleeding out and dying, and Gi-hun tries to stop the games. They'll both go home with nothing, but at least he'll survive. And in response to that, he stabs himself in the neck, letting Gi-hun take all the money and hopefully care for his mother. Ali, he does die in the games, you're right about that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say his closest ally is Gi-hun. If anything, he couples up more with Sung-woo and is by his side a lot of the time. But in the 4th game, Sung-woo and Ali are paired up and only one of them can leave alive. And because Ali is such a good-natured, trusting guy, he trusts Sung-woo, who tricks him and leaves him to die in that game. Jok-soo, yeah, he's the tough, evil villain guy who forms a band of dogs that woof at everyone and they kill people in the night, and it's crazy. You're pretty much full points on that. But he betrays a woman in the games who he was sleeping with and sharing trust with. She goes and betrays him back, and they both die together. And lastly, the front man. And you're right about the rest of the series. It is about him and Gi-hun's ideological clash. And basically, he's the evil and Gi-hun's the good against the games. You're wrong about big face reveal at the end of the season because he's a big actor. It's more face reveal towards the end of the season because of a character connection he has in the story to another character.
So halfway here, I just want to say that I think I'm nailing it, and I'm very excited to hear about the finale.
All right, the finale of Squid Game. You guessed that Gi-hun pulls his finances together and takes on the games, which is absolutely right. He suffers a lot of loss. His daughter doesn't die.
Oh.
His family in the real world are intact, but he loses a best friend in the second round of games that he partakes in. His plan to take down the games from the outside does not go to plan at all. He's stuck within the games to do what he can. Then you guess that he's gonna win the battle and lose the war and die on that island.
Yes.
Which Gi-hun ultimately wins the philosophical conflict with the frontman as he sacrifices himself in the 6th and final game in Squid Game Season 3, leaving a newborn baby to be the winner of the games, sacrificing himself for hope for the future. And then he doesn't blow up the island, but the frontman blows up the island as the Coast Guard ascend onto the games island. But all the baddies escape. The frontman takes the baby, gets on a boat, all the masked guards get out, the island is blown up, and there is no evidence or justice brought to the bads.
Oh my god.
The frontman goes to LA to where Gi-hun's daughter is living, and he gives her his only possessions in the world, his remaining prize money, and his player tracksuit of 456, as he informs her that her father is dead. And then he goes downtown, and the window goes down as he sees Kate Blanchett playing Duck G with a homeless man in LA, and then they share a look together, implying that the games go on in America, and who knows where else? And to me, that final look in the series is everything, because you can see that the front man is doubting his worldview after being affected by Gi-hun's sacrifice. I think the story that was trying to be told, it's all there in that look. I know people weren't happy with the final season, but goddamn, I can see there's a real story that they're trying to tell here, and it can all be in those looks.
I think I was right.
I think you are pretty darn close to correct, my friend.
Kate Blanchett, I think I wouldn't have preferred to have Kate Blanchett, but ultimately, I'm feeling very chuffed. Damn.
Yeah,
Last
man.
season sounds dark. I'm so glad I said no to watching this.
Well, if you enjoyed this video, we do plenty more Guess the Endings and other film content on this channel.
YouTube's about to recommend you one of them now. Go click on it.
But hey, make sure you tell someone you love them today.
Bye now.
Bye.